Hello, fourth grade. Welcome to Saxon Math, lesson 99, constructing prisms. Yesterday, you should have received the papers and cut them out and put them together to make these shapes right here, yes. So we are going to use these shapes today in completing the lesson for lesson 99. So you are going to need your book, your math book, opened to page 626, a piece of paper, and a pencil. Now, in addition to the shapes, please make sure that on your paper you write down your name, lesson number, and the date. Okay? So now, we are going to work with the first shape that you made, and that shape is a cube. Okay? So let's just start going right away through the lesson practice because there are so many of them, and then we are going to use our shapes to help us answer those questions. So let's take a look at, is it better like this? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we will take a look at this shape. So it talks about letter A. The question is, and make sure you have the right one, okay? We're working with the cube. What is the shape of each face? So remember, the faces are the flat areas on each part of the shape. So if we take a look, what shape is that? Obviously, a square. So for letter A, we would write the word square. Okay, moving on to letter B. Is each face parallel to an opposite face? So what does that mean? So we look at the face, and then it says, is each face parallel? In other words, are they running, remember we said like a railroad track, straight, like they don't cross each other. So remember, is each face parallel to an opposite face? Well, here's one, and then on the other side would be opposite. So be the ones here. Well, if you take a look, they are, yes, going parallel. So we would write yes. Letter C, is each edge parallel to at least one other edge? So remember, where two faces meet, that's an edge. So here's our edge, and then it's asking, is each edge parallel to at least one other edge? Well, if you take a look at this edge, and then at this edge, these two are both parallel. So you would write yes. For letter D, is each edge perpendicular to at least one other edge? So here's one edge here, here's an edge here. Remember, perpendicular creates, it intersects and creates a 90-degree angle. So this goes this way, this goes this way. Yes, that happens. Then on E, it asks what type of angle is formed by every pair of intersecting edges. Well, if we look here, this is straight. We determine that's a 90-degree angle. In other words, a right angle. So these are the kind of questions that we're going to be answering as we go through every single shape that you constructed yesterday. So now we're done with the cube. We can put the cube off to the side, 3 more to go. So now we take a look at your shape that looks something like this, okay? So it says, what is the shape of each face? So if we take a look, this is a rectangle, and this is a rectangle. It's a little smaller, but it's still a rectangle, and they look like they're all rectangles. So for letter F, that would be rectangle. I'm gonna move this over a little bit because we're gonna need some more room. So we look at letter G. Is each face parallel to the opposite face? Same question. So think, here's this one, here's the opposite one. As you know, they're going this way, right? Or you even did top and bottom. Are they parallel? Yes. Is each edge parallel to at least another edge? Well, think about it. Here we go. Same thing with the cube. See how there's an edge here, an edge here. Are they parallel? Yes. Let's try another one. Here, here. Yes. Is each edge parallel to at least, oh, I'm sorry, going on I, is each edge perpendicular to at least one other edge? So here's one edge, here's another one, and they are perpendicular. And let's just jump ahead right to J. What kind of angle is that going to be? Remember, straight this way, right angle. So I would be yes, J, right angle. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. Both of those questions are very similar because I think both of these shapes are very similar. The one difference is this has rectangular faces, this has square faces. So now we're moving on. So I want you to take a look at the one. This one is actually called the triangular prism. It looks like this. Looks like this, okay? And what we want to do is they ask for letter K, what are the shapes of the 5 faces? So we look over here, it has a triangle and another triangle, so that's 2. And then we look at all the other sides, 1, 2, 3. Those are rectangles. So we have 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So then we take a look at letter L. Are the triangular faces parallel? Let's see. So let's look. Triangular faces. Here's this one. Here's one on the other side. So maybe we'll hold it to the side. So here's one. Here's one. Are they parallel? Yes. Yes, they are, because this one goes this way. This one goes this way. That's fine. Are the rectangular faces parallel? Well, here's a rectangular face that's slanting this way, and this one is going that way. So they're not parallel. They will actually, one goes here, they will run into each other. So the triangular faces, are the triangular faces parallel for L? Yes. Are the rectangular? No. Make sure that you have those in the right order, okay? Letter M, are the triangular faces congruent? Are the rectangular faces congruent? So what we need to do is take a look at those. And the triangle, remember, congruent is like the same shape, the same size. Are they all the same shape and size? Well, these have to be in order for this shape to work. So the triangles are congruent. And if you take a look at all the rectangular faces, these are all congruent too. So they are yes. Would be yes for both. For letter N, do you find pairs of edges that are parallel? Well, let's look. Well, if we take a look on the rectangular faces, here's an edge, so yes. Do you find the edges that are perpendicular that cause a right angle? Well, here's one and here's one, yes. And that intersect but are not perpendicular. Well, let's look at our triangle. These intersect here and here. So our answer for N would be yes, yes, and yes. For letter O, what types of angles are formed by the intersecting edges? Well, if we take a look here, we have right angles. And then if we take a look over here, these are smaller than a right angle, so we have acute. So for letter O, we have right and acute angles. Okay, moving on for letter P. Now we have to go on with the triangular prism. So that's this one. It has like a pretty big rectangular face. It looks like the triangle's a little smaller. The triangle, it looks like a right triangle. It says, what are the shapes of the 5 faces? So we have 2 right triangles, 1, 2. Did everybody see that okay? And then we have 3 rectangles. Looking over here, we have 1, 2, and then 3. So I'm going to put down 2 right triangles and then 3 rectangles. There we go. All right. Which faces are parallel? Again, it looks like all these rectangles are kind of running into each other, but the ones that are parallel are going to be the triangles. Letter R. Are the triangular faces congruent? Are the rectangular faces congruent? Remember, same shape, same size. Well, let's look here and then here. Triangular faces look congruent. The triangles are congruent. So it says, are the triangular faces congruent? We would do yes. And then it asks, are the rectangular faces congruent? Well, look how big this one is. Yes, this. And then this one's really small, and this one's kind of medium size. So they're the same shape, but they're definitely not the same size. So the rectangular ones are a no. Your first answer would be yes, second one is a no. S, are there pairs of edges that are parallel? Well, look here, these are parallel. Are there pairs that are perpendicular? Well, this goes here, this cuts across, so yes. Intersecting, but not perpendicular. Well, these intersect, right, if they keep going. So our answer for S would be yes, yes, and yes. Letter T. What types of angles are formed by the intersecting edges? Well, if we take a look over here, we go this way and that way. We have right angles. And then again here, if we do go this way, again, it's smaller than a right angle, so acute. So for T, it's right and acute angles. Okay, so 4th grade. This is everything, the lesson practice. I hope that we understood a little bit more by working with the 4 shapes that you created on Thursday. You might want to hold on to those shapes because we're probably going to be using them for your actual written practice. Your assignment for tomorrow is pages 627 to 629, numbers 1 through 30. Thanks so much. Great job, and see you next time.